Hi, Outofbody Explorers. Today I want to talk about your energy bodies and what happens to them in those dimensions. What you should know is all these energy bodies are all a makeup of you. So I'm going to show it to you in Russian dolls. Remember those Russian dolls? They were so cute and so pretty. I have my own Russian dolls. I actually have them as wolves because I've been in those wolf dimensions. And so let me explain to you how this works. Very simple, because people say, hey, I had a dream about you last night. I always know what my out-of-body situation is because it's always been written down. I'm going on 24 years of doing this. This is how I explain it. Some nights you could be having an out-of-body with Russie, the coach. Other nights you can be having an out-of-body with High Priestess Russie. Remember those times of Game of Thrones? That's right, remember Merlin? Okay, maybe that's when you're having a moment with me. Or you can be having a time with 16-year-old Russie. Or you could be playing volleyball with Russie the volleyball player, Russie the athlete. And then last but not least, you can also be hanging out with Russie the quantum physics teacher. That's why I have all these little dimensional things put in together like a Russian doll. I'm only giving you 5 examples. There are many more, because there's so many dimensions and there's so many you around in that energy source. And the one thing that I think is really important about this is that how you really discover yourself. So you need to know you. You are in constant work with your higher self. And I know everybody wants to say angels and this and that, but it really is your higher self constantly talking to you. But I'm going to add this one, and this is where these individuals that have passed on,
I see dead people,
meaning the ones that were here on earth with you and then they leave. So I want you to know that they are guides for you, and I'm going to give you a story about that in this situation. But this morning I woke up and I was all gung-ho to give you this video and talk about yoga and the practice, and then God's like, yeah, you're gonna have to tell them about this movie. And I'm like, oh, I love that movie. Remember Multiplicity? Yeah, that movie. They kept cloning that person. And now there's the other movie, The Boys from Brazil. Remember that? The Boys from Brazil is free on YouTube. I suggest you watch that. It'll kind of twist you a little crazy. You don't have to believe me, but they did clone a sheep. Do you remember that news? Yeah. So just be aware. I'm going to have to tell you about a different experience about a doppelganger situation, so I thought, coming out of this book. So August 19th, 2018, I was walking in a bar. Now I'm not a big bar person, but I could tell you that what this bar looked like. I walk in and it was all brown. Every little piece of it, between the bar itself, the seats were wood. It was like very rustic, almost Western-like. And as I walk in, I'm just kind of like scanning the area because I'm like, yeah, I'm in an out-of-body, I could feel it. And this man comes across, and then he had like broken English, and he kept calling me, Bootsy, Bootsy. And I'm like, I look back, me? And I say in my head, oh, doppelganger. He must think I'm somebody else. And he's like, no, Bootsy. And so basically he kept going towards me, and I'm like, oh, okay. So we hug each other, and he's like, Bootsy, and he looks at me, he's like, you're still beautiful. But he had some kind of Eastern European accent. So I'm like, all right, this guy likes me. He's nice, he's happy. And I don't realize it until my waking world. So I visit my mom, which we usually do on the Sundays, and we're looking through one of her old books from like when I was a baby. And I don't even realize it until I look in this book, and there he is. It was Victor, and Victor started my family here in America, and he helped my dad work in a restaurant bar. That's what happened, and that's how we met him. And he loved me because I had these fat little cheeks, and he loved to just squeeze them. And my mom said he loved you so much he could never say your name right. I know, Russie, Bootsy, it's the same thing every time I meet somebody. What's your name? Muffy? Dusty? Buffy? Oh, I'm like, no, it's Russie. Leslie? Like, where the heck did that come from? But how cute is that? So he came to tell me he loved me, and he's obviously passed on. I didn't cry in that moment of the out of body, but I cried after, just to tell him in gratitude that I still love him too. Love him for helping my family, love him for finding me in this dimension to remind me how much he did love me. So I am in gratitude. You tell me, has anybody said, hey, you look like my cousin? Hey, you look like a person I know in California. Hello? Yeah, I know. Could be scary now that I'm bringing this up, but it scared me this morning when God said, you got to talk about that. Was not planning on it for this week, but now I'm putting it out there. And like I said, I didn't mean to scare you about the Multiplicity movie, yeah, or the boys from Brazil, but there is a lot of information out there, and I want you to start tracking that because it's part of what's going to happen in our future. Just know that that is going on. All right, out-of-body explorers, I'll see you next week. Press like and subscribe and really share this because lots of people are starting to go through this process because the dimensions are opening and the truth is really here. I know I keep saying it's like I'm a broken record. Have a great day. See you next week.